Somewhere along the way, we must learn that there is nothing greater than to do something for others. Martin Luther King Jr. knew generosity was a key.
Yeah, and so do we. And so today we are talking about the key to a strong family team that has a lasting impact, and that is actually generosity. So stick around and learn about how your family can be generous. See you in there.
So today we're talking about generosity and the idea of having like a family mission, and we're not talking about like going overseas on mission or doing something like that, but just having a mission of generosity as a family, how that can fuel your family and how it's a key to having a grace-fueled family. Because as Christians, we received the grace of God through Jesus, and that is God's mission towards us, is, salvation and living a life to the full with Him post-salvation. We didn't deserve it. We didn't earn it. And all we need to do is accept it. And that's God's mission to us. And therefore, God gives us a mission to give back to other people in a generous and loving way.
Yeah, it's actually a really biblical concept too. Because if you look at Acts chapter 20, verse 35, let me read it for you. It says, "There is more happiness in giving than in receiving." And so the thought of generosity and being on mission as a family and being generous to others is actually first come from God. And it is a biblical principle. And we really believe that God is actually talking about that's financially. We need to be generous with our finances, but it's also practically. And be generous with our time and with our talents. And so today we really want to encourage you to really be training your children in that as well. Because we believe generosity is God's currency. And so as Christians, we also need to have that currency as well to other people. And we know that families on mission together have a purpose greater than themselves, and they can really add value to and lasting impact for the glory of God into this world.
Absolutely. And there's that old wrestle in Scripture about faith versus works, and we're talking about, your faith is dead without your works, and your works is nothing without your faith. So they come hand in hand. So that's the same for a family that's living by grace, living in the grace of God, living to give the grace of God, is we need to be faith and works. And that's one of the keys to a firm foundation as a family.
Yeah, I guess too, when we're talking about mission, we're not necessarily talking about like going to overseas mission, although we definitely don't discourage
you at all.
But we're talking about what can you do as a family in the world that you live in the street that you live in the school, in the unis, in the workplaces, whatever it is, how can you be on mission for God in those places? We've actually experienced living overseas on mission, and we did a 3-year stint in Bali, which was absolutely phenomenal and has completely changed our lives.
Absolutely.
But one thing we really learnt from that, because when God called us to come home to Australia, we actually wanted to stay there forever, but God specifically called us home, and we were really devastated to leave, weren't we?
Absolutely.
And we were kind of like, oh man, our mission's finished. What do we do now? But one thing God really sowed into us and we really learnt is that mission is a lifestyle. It's not a destination. It's not we do this and then we've done mission, or we do go here and then we're on mission. It's a lifestyle. It's how we live.
Absolutely. And every day as a person of faith is an opportunity to spread the mission. And that might be with your hands and less with your voice, or it might be that someone's, wanting to know more about Jesus and it's with your voice and not so much your hands. And so we really believe in leading by our action and loving people on mission. And so
it's being God's hands and feet, isn't it?
Absolutely.
To other people. And it can be to other people that already know Jesus, and it can be to other people that don't know Jesus. It can even be a smile to a supermarket attendee or employee. Like it can be anything, just sharing God's love with other people.
Absolutely. And so where does generosity start? Well, we believe it starts in your values, your articulated values, and that will help to steer your family towards being a family on mission. And so if you haven't already, we encourage you to head over to our website, www.gracefueledfamilies.com, and sign up for our free 5-day family insight guide, where you'll start to work through some of your family values and start to articulate them. But being generous starts with your values. If that's something as a family you hold high and something that you value, then that's something that you will do. And there's an old saying, it says, charity starts at home. What our little people see us do is what they'll grow up as big people to do. And if they see this happening at home, then they will replicate it in their own lives at school and beyond as they grow up and move out of home.
Yeah, I think we really need to explicitly teach our children how to be generous. We need to model it with our behaviour as parents, but we also need to explicitly teach them how to be generous. And part of that can be being generous and sharing their toys. For example, visitors might come over. We constantly tell our children that we need to share our house, we need to share our toys. Now, there are some things that if they really don't want them touched, we'll put them in your room to keep them safe, but then whatever is out is free for everyone to play with. So just starting to teach the value of generosity in your home will influence your children to be generous in life as well.
Yeah, so some of the other things we do, we do pocket money at home. We might do a blog about how we do that. But in that, they have a give, a save and a spend box, and every 3 months or whatever we say, hey, what do you want to give towards? And often we'll choose as a family one particular thing to give towards, but there might be individuals that want to do things. So we make it a joyous, fun thing that with our finance, with what we have, because everything we have financially, practically whatever, belongs to God anyway, so how can we give that back? We make meals for others if we hear them going through a hard time. We'll often get the kids to help us make the meals and deliver the meals, just to show that sort of generosity. Yeah,
another thing is each day on the way to school, I always pray with our children on the way to school, and we often talk about Lord, show us how we can be your hands and feet today. And also that we can be leaders of kindness. And part of that is also encouragement too. And so often at night, or particularly at our family team night, which we talked about in our last blog, we talk about, how did you show generosity, or how did you encourage someone this week? And so our kids are constantly coming home with, oh, Mum, I was able to encourage this kid today, and blah, blah, blah. And it's really, really cool to be able to actually share that with our kids.
Yeah, we try to be quick to pray for others. So if we know someone's over and they're sick or having a tough time, we'll say, hey, family, we want to pray for this person, and draw everyone else and be generous with the way that we're praying for others and believing God to do a work in other people's lives.
Yeah, and we really believe our street is a mission field as well, and so we're actually really intentional about the relationship building with people on our street. And it's actually been really special over this, we've just been on holidays, and over this Christmas period, we have had so many neighbours actually be generous to us.
Yeah, it's
and
awesome.
Giving us so much produce from their garden, which has been an amazing thing for our kids, haven't they? They've been blown away by just how generous people have been to us. And so, we are able to be generous to our street, and it's a reciprocal relationship, isn't it? And it's
sow what you reap.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a really beautiful thing.
Reap
what you sow. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And then one of the real big ones, because we did do 3 years on the mission field in Bali, and we developed a really strong relationship with the Bali Life Foundation. One of the things we have committed to our family to do is that we will go overseas to Bali Life every single year to help our children capture the vision of mission overseas as well. And Bali Life Foundation are an awesome foundation doing amazing work in Indonesia, mostly to bring education to children, but they also work on rescuing children who are in poverty, to give them hope, dignity and purpose, which is sort of their values catchphrase. And so we want our kids to regularly go over, taste, feel and see what it looks like to do mission overseas, because we'd hope one day that our kids would be have a heart for that and go and do that themselves as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really important to have a purpose for what you're doing, and a purpose in finding a charity or finding something that you can as a family give to, or you can pray for, etc. We've chosen Bali Life because it's special to us, and we know so much, we're connected to them. And if you actually want to check them out, www.balilife.org, isn't it?
Yeah, they're awesome, trustworthy, amazing charity.
Yeah, but I guess we haven't told you these things today that our family do because we think
our family's awesome.
Our family's awesome, and we we're better than anyone else, anything like that. We really just want to encourage you about ways that you can, as a family, be generous to other people. And what could you start doing in your family this year? It's the start of a new year. What could you do this year to a practice you can add into your family to be generous to other people? Is it just praying on the way to school and seeing how you can encourage other people? Is it finding a charity to support? What is it that you can do to be generous? Because we know that generosity is God's currency, and it's a key to making a lasting impact as a family team.
I think one of the keys is to really keep it simple.
Absolutely.
So if this is something you want to implement, again, keep it simple. You're busy family people, but is there something you could go and visit and interact with? A homeless shelter. I remember as a kid we used to make soup. I think it was for Vinnie's. And I remember feeling like amazing, seeing that my mum and us would make soup and then deliver it and help to feed homeless people. But what really solidified it was actually going and seeing the kitchen and seeing what went on. And that was awesome. So encourage you, find something locally that you can really sink your time into. You may already have a place. But see if you can make it into an experience as well to make it more real.
Another temptation can sometimes be, I'll support this, and this. But from our experience, we feel like it's got a bigger impact if you just choose one or two that as a family you can really focus on. It might be a compassion child, it might be a charity, whatever it is. Find something that you can as a family
really so into
and commit to.
Absolutely. And as we said earlier, generosity is God's currency. So never be afraid to be generous. Sometimes generosity hurts, but it comes back in ways that you don't know. And example of that is every time Isaac needs clothes, somehow clothes just flow through the front door free of charge from other people. And that, we believe, is because we were being generous in Indonesia when he was young, and we couldn't afford to buy him clothes. And now clothes, even though we probably could afford it now, they still keep flowing in for free because God is good and he returns the generosity that you've given. However, you can't expect God to return. He'll do that naturally and flow it. You don't give to get a return. You give to bless others. But anyway, that's a long... there's sermons on that, so we won't go too much into that. But we want to leave you with one quote from Max Lucado. Do you want to deliver it?
Yeah. None of us can help everyone, but all of us can help someone. And when we help them, we serve Jesus. Who would want to miss a chance to do that?
Every single person in this world is a child of God. No matter how evil they are, no matter whether they're a Christian or not, every single person in this world deserves the generosity of Christ. And
Amen.
We are the vessels that are able to bring that. So we really encourage you people, be generous with your families. Show what that means, because we can change the world as Christians who are on fire for Jesus and his mission.
Absolutely.
And lastly, we talked earlier about our 5-day Family Insight Guide. If that's something you want to get, jump over to our website. It's really easy to get that, and you'll get it in your inbox for 5 days. And that'll help you solidify your family values, as well as there is a whole day on mission and using your values to do mission as well in there with a bit more information.
Absolutely. But this week, how can you be generous in a new way in your family? It's a privilege to be generous, and we look forward to you joining God's mission in that way.
And let us know how you do it in the comments. That'd be awesome.
Absolutely.
We'd love to hear. We love hearing people being generous and on mission. So
Cool.
bless you.
Peace out.
Bye.